that guy.
Forgot my headset. Whoa.
No, you'd be fine. Here we go. So welcome back, everyone. Woohoo! Now, when you hear that, you know that I got Michael Henderson in the house with me.
We're here.
He is the owner of Tapestry Insurance Group. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about you and how every day's a Medicare day.
That's
in
true.
your world.
A little bit about me. That's a
Yeah.
long story.
It is. I gotta learn a little bit about you though. Before the last time you were on, you told me that you like riding.
Yeah, I ride bikes a lot and stuff, but no, you know, we do Medicare. Obviously, we specialize in Medicare, and our goal is really education. To be honest, we work in the space. Obviously, we're licensed insurance agents, so quote unquote salespeople, I guess. But you know, our goal is really different than most agents out there. Our agents' goal is to educate the community and then help them find the right fit, right? Versus trying to push something down somebody's throat, for lack of a better term. So,
Right.
Yeah.
But you know what, first of all, let me just talk about you for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Well, let me just tell you, folks, that when it comes to seniors, Michael is your seniors advocate. And that is something that you have, ever since I've met you, and I mean, we've been on this show at least 8 or 9 years. And we literally, I have seen you, how important it is to educate the public. One of the things that you have said over and over and time again is, please call someone local.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
and I think it's important for this type of a show. The reason why is because they get to hear someone like
Yeah.
you. They don't even know people like you exist.
And that's a huge problem. I mean, I have it told to me every year, you know, I didn't know there was somebody out here to help us or whatever. You know, our friends did it all online, and you know, my goal is just, again, education. And if you have an insurance agent, great. We're not trying to wedge our way in there, although you can call us. But you know, our goal is really to make sure that everybody has that local representation. So, you know, find a local agent, call us. We'd love to hear from you, of course. But you know, it's just something you need to work with somebody local that knows the area or your area that you're in, because we work in a lot of areas, but your area, somebody that knows, you know, the doctor networks and things like that, and how the plans really are to work with in those areas. So it's not just about a copay. You know, there's a lot more that goes into this than just a copay.
Way more,
Yeah.
way more. I will say this too. There's a lot of people, especially us old folks, we tend to think that things are too good to be true.
Come on now.
Right? But it's true. This is a free service to the families out there.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, that's too good to be true.
Yeah, well, we do get paid, but we get paid from the carriers. And there's no incentive for us to do one over the other. So we're not trying to push a particular product. We get paid pretty much the same with everybody. So it's really back to about education. It doesn't cost you as the consumer any more to go through us than it does to call an 800 number somewhere. It's just that you're going to have that local support, local feel, and somebody that you can contact in the future versus getting somebody different every time you call in.
It's very important to have somebody here, especially when you're a senior who goes through, maybe you've got a lot of medication.
Yep.
You get different medications every year. Things change about your health. Isn't it great to have somebody there that can talk to you, that knows you? A lot of people do call the 800. I don't know why. The only reason that I could think it's Joe.
They have compelling ads. Let's just say, you know, and the problem with a national TV ad for a product like this for Medicare is that there's different plans in every area. So and it can be different from county to county. So Maricopa County can be different than, you know, Pima County or Pinal County for particular plans. So that's why it's really hard on a national ad. It sounds really good, but some of those benefits they talk about may or may not apply to you. So that's why it's good to talk with somebody local that's not just trying to sell you something. And you know, when rates change, supplement rates are changing this year. They're probably going up. Most of the carriers I've seen are going up. So it's just good to review that stuff with somebody that cares.
That's here local. That's what it's all about. Now you cover the entire Southwest, and when you call, the one thing about it, we have been saying this over and over again.
Yep.
Leave a message. Tell them why.
So there are rules with Medicare. We can't just call people helter skelter. I know you guys get calls out there, but that's not from us. You know, you have to leave a message. We have to have what's called permission to contact. And so if you don't leave us a message, we don't know who called, and We don't just call random numbers back.
So leave a message at 480-847-0701, and he'll call you back and tell you whether he can help you in your area,
Mm-hmm.
or you have other people as well. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. We work with many agents in the Southwest here, so if it's not me that's gonna help you out, we're gonna get you connected with one of our agents in your local area. So I'm not an expert in Prescott, but we've got agents up there that are ready and able to help you out up there. You know, Tucson or Maricopa, whatever it might be. We've got agents there to help you out.
Now, every day is a Medicare day.
Every day is a Medicare.
Because somebody turns 65 every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's why every day is a Medicare day. How do you help people that are gonna turn 65?
Well, so first of all, too, there's, people retire at different ages now. Most of us are working past 65 these days, and so, you may be already 65, but you may have been on your employer group plan for the last 3, 4, 5 years after 65. So you can retire at any time, and you have the ability to go on to Medicare. But to your question, when somebody's getting ready to go on to Medicare, whether it's retiring or turning 65, first of all, we got to get your Part B activated with Medicare through Social Security Medicare, and that's through the government. We can't do that. We're not employees of the government, but we can help you facilitate that. So we've got the forms that you might need to fill out and things like that. So we can help you with that process, or I should say more guide you through that process probably. And then once you get your Medicare activated, then we can look at plans that are going to fit you to fill those holes in Medicare. I call them Medicare's just 80-20 plan basically. So we can fill those 20% so that you have good coverage like you did have on your employer group plan.
Well, the main thing is that you call early, right?
Yep.
Don't wait till it's like your day of your birthday and start calling.
Yeah.
I think that it's important. When do you think they should start calling you?
So anytime 90 days and out from your 65th birth month, so it goes on the month, not the day, so it's the first of the month that you turn 65. But it's 90 days out from there is when Medicare will start talking to you. But you kind of need to maybe plan a little bit early, so maybe 4 months out, we get you the forms, we get a game plan ready to go. I will say right now, Social Security and Medicare are taking a little longer to process things, so just be aware, we do want to start as early as possible, so that 90-day mark, we want to get started right in there probably.
Call them at 480-847-0701. He services everyone in the Southwest, and this is a free service to you, the families out there. And one of the other things that I love about him is you're all about just educating everybody,
Yep.
letting them know what it is that they may or may not. A lot of times people may not decide to go. You even had one client that you said didn't want to be on Medicare.
Yeah. It's some people don't like Medicare. I think it's the greatest thing going personally, but it's a government program, so yeah, there's something for everybody. But we're going to help you find the right direction and find if you want to stay on something that is good to you. At least once you get that education.
Right. And the other thing that I want to talk about too is do not talk to your friends. I mean, we say talk to your friends,
Yeah.
but a lot of people do. We as seniors, we tend to,
Yeah.
hey, what do you got? What is
Yeah.
it? And yeah, it's great, but guess what? They might not have the same needs
Yeah.
as you have, and I think that's what it's all about right there. Each
Yep.
one's individual.
Yeah, so talk with your friends over lunch and dinner and golf games and things
But not
like that.
everything else.
And they might have some recommendations on plans, but that's for their needs. Maybe they have diabetes, maybe they have a vast sum of money in their retirement account or whatever. But everybody's situation is different,
Mhm.
and so what our goal is, again, goes back to educating you on your options, and then finding the plan that's going to fit for your health needs and your financial needs as well. And that's super important because your neighbor may or may not be in the same situation you are. And you might end up on the same plan as them. I'm not saying you won't, but it's good to get the overall picture first.
Right, absolutely. Again, this is a free service to you, and to speak to somebody local, it just makes sense. It
Yeah.
really, really
Yeah.
does. Again, his phone number to call, it's 480-847-0701. Leave a message so that he can call you back. And if it's not him, you have the other gal in the
Yep.
office too. And if he can't help you in his area, he has all the people in Southwest
Yep.
that can help you as well. Again, that number, it's 480-847-0701. Hang tight, we'll be back in just a minute.
Yay!
I almost lost it completely.
You lost your voice.
We're still live in here,
Yeah.
so we're gonna keep on going.
But you still almost lost your voice.
And I'm so glad, I was like thinking, he's not gonna know what to say, he's not gonna know what to say.
I was just gonna wait for you with
I
dead
thought
air
you-
in between, no.
The worst was when one time, I don't know, have you ever met Michael
Yeah,
Viola?
yeah.
That was when I
Oh, yeah,
peed in my
yeah.
pants on the floor. That was funny.
Oh, that's
Anyway, we
awesome.
do a lot of different things in here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we're just having fun.
And though, when we talk about Medicare being every day a Medicare day, I think that, I wanted to ask you a question, and you might be able to help. I don't know if there's anything that anyone can do at this point. I found out that my ex-mother-in-law, she pays for all of her medication out of pocket because years and years and years and years ago, she wasn't really taking medication. And so she never got that other part, right?
Yeah, the Start Ds.
Yeah, and so she had, I guess, I don't know what the deal is, but now everything is paid out of pocket for her. And, you know, she has to go through hoops in order to get some of them, you know, like from another country, you know, and things like that.
Yeah.
What, can anything be done for this poor woman?
Not in the middle of the year like this, she'd have to wait till annual enrollment, possibly. I mean, I don't know, unless she's got low income or something like that, she could, but probably have to wait till annual enrollment time and then look at a prescription drug plan. The problem is, depending on how old she is, she's gonna have a penalty for all those years she didn't have a prescription drug plan.
Yeah, that's
It's actually 1% per month of about $30. So if it's 10 years, that's 120%, so it could raise the rate, could
It's
double
way too
the
high.
rate,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
the prescription drug plan goes from, let's just say $30, if that's the one she picks, to
Why would anyone ever do something
$67.
like that?
Well, situation, we run into that situation a lot, where somebody doesn't take any prescriptions at 65, they're healthy, but then 70 hits or whatever.
Can we talk about that on the air?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it might be somebody else that's out
Yeah.
there.
The problem is that then you have to make the decision, okay, is that 5-year penalty that's gonna be 60%, is that worth, first of all, not accruing the penalty anymore, but second of all,
I think
the
they
next
know,
10
they need
years.
to know that there is that penalty so that they don't do that, because
Yep.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
yeah, it's hard.
Here we go.
And people don't get fully educated, that's education,
What's
right?
that? Yeah, exactly. That's
So-
why I'm gonna talk about that right now.
Let's do this.
What?
I said, let's do this.
Let's not lose it again.
It'll be me this time.
So welcome back. Woo! So we're talking with Michael Henderson, and he's the owner of Tapestry Insurance Group. And you know, during the break, and we've been on for over 8 years doing this show
Been a while,
together.
yeah.
A long time. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is during the break, I talk about, you know, other things to Facebook land out there and stuff, and I learn more. And when you listen and talk to you, there's always something
Always
to
something
learn.
new, right?
And
Yeah.
when you talk about education, that you truly, truly, truly mean that.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking with Michael, and I'm sure maybe my ex is listening, so hello. But you know, his mother, when she was turning 65, was healthy, not taking medication, so she didn't get that other part.
The prescription drug, the Part D plan,
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I was talking to you and saying how now, you know, she's on a lot, and
Yeah.
she has to purchase it all out of pocket.
Out of pocket,
right?
yeah.
And I asked you, you know, well, for her, it's too late, right? So she's not gonna change it. Well, she's 92,
Yeah,
so she's
yeah.
probably not gonna change. But because you said there's a penalty,
Yeah.
and that is something that people need to hear. Listen
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah, so, you know, it all goes back to that education. If you're not educated properly in the beginning, you may think differently, or you may make a choice that's different from what you would if you had the full picture. So at 65, many people are healthy, they don't take prescriptions, or maybe they take a prescription that's $1 or $2, you know, for cholesterol or whatever. And maybe they feel like it's not worth it to go on a prescription drug plan. The problem with that is if you go without a prescription drug plan, there can be a penalty to that. when you do go on a prescription drug plan later. So, you know, let's say 65 you're good, but 75 you're now on a few prescriptions, and they're not cheap, they're fairly expensive, as a lot of them are. Now you go on a prescription drug plan, you're gonna have a 10-year penalty, and it's 1% per month that you went without. So that's 120% of roughly, it depends on the area, but roughly about $30 a month. So you could be paying, for a $30 drug plan, you could be paying $60-70 a month. Still may be worth it because the cost of your drugs, and you also don't want to keep accruing the penalty because it will keep accruing, and there's no way to shut that off until you get a prescription drug plan. So anyway, it's and the government does that, so that it's kind of like car insurance. They don't want you to buy a car insurance after you get in a car wreck. That's the reason prescription drugs, they do that. So there's a lot of inexpensive prescription drug plans out there. There's even some this year with a 0 premium. So get one, even if you don't take prescriptions. It won't cost you anything or much, and it keeps you from accruing that penalty.
I'm telling you, I know she's sorry. I know that she is.
And it's a common thing, actually. It's not that uncommon.
Really?
Yeah, because unfortunately there's agents out there that don't give the full picture, and also sometimes people just make that decision to go ahead and kind of.
And I think that's probably, I mean,
take a chance.
who knows? But you know,
so,
you do take it's a gamble, but I think that it's important for people to hear these things.
Yeah.
And that again, that's what I love about the show the most. All the information that the people get. And so let me just give out your phone number, because I do also want to talk about people joining your team as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So first of all, his phone number is 480-847-0701. He services the entire Southwest, and let me tell you something, he is your seniors advocate, and let me tell you also, he's all about education first. Please call someone local. That is something that he has said since you've been coming on. It's so important.
Yeah.
So joining the team, what kind of people are you looking for?
You know, we find, well, everybody can do this industry. I mean, even I can do it. So hey, you know, it's not rocket science, but you know, I think you have to care. Right. And we've got some military retirees, we've got teachers, we've got people that worked in the medical field, you know, in a past career. And I think the people that do the best in this field are people that care about other people, want to serve people, want to help people with issues, things like that. And so we really have a great team. I'm probably a little bit jaded, but we have a great team that works with us, and they really enjoy serving the community. So that's the type of people I think that do well. But you know, we've had people from all kinds of backgrounds. We've had police officers, or retired police officers, all kinds of stuff.
Well, you know, I think it's important too. There's a lot of people out there. Maybe you're retired and you don't feel like really being retired. You want a little something as supplement, you know, or you do need that. You need that second income. Teachers are wonderful to do this job.
Yeah, you know, and it's something where I've said it a number of times on the radio as well. I feel like I volunteer every day, but I get to pay the bills, and I think so. That's where that service minded comes from. You know, it's not a get rich quick scheme or anything. It's hard work, but if you do it the right way, it's very rewarding. And I'm not talking about the money. It's just a rewarding thing to do.
Right, and you even have told the story about how you fell in love with it the first day ever, you know, started.
And I got skunked. So I did, you know, it was like I did the education. I did how I feel about this industry. I did it, and she hated Medicare, hated the government, hated doctors, and didn't decide to do anything.
But
it was
smiling.
fine with me. Yeah, it was great, and so it really made me fall in love with it. You know, I really felt like I did the right thing. She felt good about it, and so onward and upward, right?
Right, that's what's important too, for everybody out there. And to listen in when you hear these things, because a lot of people, no matter what, they still call, they call it, there's 800 numbers. I know, I've listened to them now that I have you on the show and stuff like that, and I'll think, you know, it does sound a little deceiving. And I don't mean to say that they are being that way on purpose, but it could be confusing.
It's confusing on an already confusing
thing. And boy, oh boy, how many more alphabets do they gotta throw in there?
Well, insurance by itself is confusing. I mean, car insurance and life insurance and health insurance it's all confusing as is. The thing is, we've all been on group insurance when we worked for somebody, and you don't really have to make any decisions. You just go on the plan that's offered by your employer. Now you go into Medicare, and there's all these choices. So it's a big undertaking. So that's what we're here for. So it can be very confusing. I also will say there's a lot of from those call centers, you guys out there have probably gotten a lot of inbound calls where people are calling you. They're really not supposed to do that. They've worked a way around the system somehow, I don't know. But they sound convincing. I've even heard some of my clients say, oh yeah, I work with your agent and things like that. So, just if you have a question and you have an agent and you get a call like that, just let them know you're taken care of and call your agent. Just
Make
if
sure
you have a
that
question.
you just.
Yeah. Oh, give us a call here locally as well. And like Carol said, we'll get you with one of our local agents if you don't already have an
The
agent.
Little Michaels. The
Little Michaels. Yeah.
That number to call, it's 480-847-0701. If you're thinking about getting into a business, what a great business. And please, ladies and gentlemen, there are people that need you out there, right?
Yeah.
They really do. These people, for me, I know that, like I told you, my mother-in-law, my ex-husband, they talk about this all the time,
Yeah.
right? And they don't know what to do. The thing is that they don't know what to do, what's right for them.
And that's not uncommon. The talk around the table after a golf game, or the talk with your friends at lunch, for a lot of seniors is insurance and doctors and things like that, and pets or whatever. But a lot, sometimes it does go on to your insurance and your Medicare, and so that's where we're here to help you and your friends, family, whatever it need be.
And don't try and do it on your own. A lot of people today, they go up to Dr. Google, and a lot of people, there's so much can you do it? Probably, but you know what? Do you know about all the information? Yeah,
you can go on and get some information. Matter of fact, do that, but then give us a call and verify that information and get the the real scoop or whatever you want to call it. You can also call a carrier directly. If you had a particular carrier at your employer group plan, you can call them. The problem is they're totally different divisions, so your doctor that's in network for your group plan may not be in network for that carrier's Medicare plan.
Probably not.
Doesn't always happen, but I'm just saying you need to double check these things, and that's what we're here for. So there's a lot of ins and outs. Even if you think, oh, I love my carrier that I've been with for the last 30 years, it may be totally different on Medicare.
Again, that phone number to call him, it's 480-847-0701. He services the entire Southwest. And what I love with it, I don't know if you're able to talk to everybody that calls in anymore.
I can't, but my office manager, she's great. She's worked for carriers, she's worked for agencies, she's got a vast knowledge, and will connect you with.
Now, the other thing about turning 65, I just was thinking about something, my mind's always going.
Hey, it should.
I'm lucky it does.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, because a lot of people that are turning 65, they think that Medicare, number one, they think that just happens on its own. They don't realize they have to do it themselves.
Yeah.
And also, they think it's free.
Yeah. So Medicare, there's two parts to original Medicare that you get, that red, white, and blue card you get from the government. There's two parts to that. There's Part A. That does come automatically when you turn 65. Because as long as you've paid into Medicare 10 work years, you've worked for 10 years of your lifetime. Part B is what's not automatic, because there is a premium to that, small premium, but it's not automatic because you could be on an employer group plan or something, so they don't automatically start that, so you're billed twice. So you've got to activate that on yourself. So yes, you're exactly right. There's parts of that you need to activate, because again, Part B, as in boy, also can have penalties if you don't activate it on time.
Wow.
So there's two situations where there could be penalties if you don't have what they call credible coverage through an employer or something like that. So lots of ins and outs.
There are, but the information is what's so important.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know these things, and whether it's you or someone that tell them about it, because it's important that they do it right. I know, firsthand, I'm hearing it from my mother-in-law. She's sorry that she didn't. Listen, I think that even though throughout all of those years, it wasn't somebody that said, hey, maybe you should get the other plan. Who knows? But anyway, I think it's wonderful that we have people like you. You are a seniors advocate. You truly are. And people, listen up. Don't do it yourself, because there's too many choices that you can make the wrong choice. And then you have this information that's right here for you, that all it's going to do is give you that information, and then you'll have better information to make good decisions. And I think that's the main thing. Again, you can call him direct. His phone number is 480-847-0701. He services the entire Southwest. every day's a 65 day.
Every
Every
day's
day's
a
a Medicare day. And also, if you're looking to get into the business, he'd love to have you join the team. 480-847-0701.
Woo.